I'm back. It's been a while, but finally decided to come back, give Kingdom Rush a try again. And I spent a good 2 hours trying to beat this, but I was determined. I figured, I was at quite the impasse before, but I could eventually beat it. It seemed more possible than Twin Rivers. And it got to a point where I had like the right towers, but this goes beyond just putting the right towers in the right places. It can get really, really precise at times, and there are little bits of detail that just sometimes don't work. And that's the most frustrating part. That's why it took me so long, and you'll see what I mean, like with how precise I had to be doing this. It was extremely hard, but I eventually beat it, and I'd only gotten to the end of Wave 6 a couple of times, so I didn't quite know what I was doing there. And yeah, I'm doing post-commentary here. Not something I typically do, but I'd been at this for so long, I was basically just silent the entire time, and then there was just a bunch of mic booming noises from very heavy breathing at the end. So I will spare you that segment of the audio, and I will also spare you all of the failed attempts, and we'll just get to the exciting part here. And here's our winning attempt. So what you want are barbarians with the first level of throwing axes, and you put them at the absolute pinnacle of their rally point here. You want a level 2 mage and a level 1 archer, and you're going to want to upgrade that level 1 archer to level 2 once you get the money. And as soon as the first enemies approach these guys, we're going to want to rain fire them so that a lot of these first wave enemies die to the scorched earth, because you're pretty much always going to need Rain of Fire for something in this level, so the more you save it, the more you'll need it right after and end up failing. So you want to kind of time your Rain of Fires, right? You don't really want to hang on to them. And we're putting reinforcements in such a place where the barbarians can throw their axes at the trolls and kill them. We want to kill these trolls as quickly as possible before the gargoyles show up, and once we get the money, we get an artillery just to help kill the trolls a bit more, although that artillery tower's primary focus is going to be on the matriarchs on the next wave. And ideally, you don't want any of your barbarians to die, that's the thing, because we need barbarians to kill the gargoyles. And we're going to be separating 2 trolls out here so that we can rain of fire 7 of them on the top. And then we'll have the rest of them separated out, and we'll deal with them on the next wave. And here we go. And then you want to put your reinforcements in a lot of strategic places here. So what you're going to see me do at this point is I'm going to throw some reinforcements down in the corner to try and stall the matriarchs a bit, because if the matriarchs get in your choke point with the trolls and the wargs and you don't have your rain of fire, you're dead. There's just too many enemies for them to handle under any conditions at that point. So we try to throw barracks in here, and you always just barely survive this. Like, you never know if you're actually gonna make it through. It's always extremely close. And as soon as the matriarchs get in range, you can use Rain of Fire and hopefully kill off any matriarchs or winter wolves. And as soon as you're able, start upgrading your barracks once, and then we're going to get a ranger here. Now, I tried for a while putting poison on these rangers, but that's not really the play. You want to put Wrath of the Forest, because these Yetis, I died to the Yetis before at the end, because there's a lot of Yetis at the end of this level, and you just want to stall them for as long as possible. And this Yeti, don't Rain of Fire him, you want to Rain of Fire the Troll Chieftain at the top. Your towers can handle the singular Yeti by himself. He's not really an issue. You're going to need to use reinforcements to let this chieftain get Rain of Fired, though, so don't constantly spam reinforcements on the Yeti when he's about to die. So here we go, we're going to Rain of Fire him, and if we keep him in the Scorched Earth for its entire length, he will die just before the Scorched Earth goes away. And here we get the Rangers, and we're going to get Wrath of the Forest on them as soon as possible. You don't need to go from level 3 to Big Bertha, because that doesn't make a difference. We just need to make sure that we're killing the numerous enemies on the next wave efficiently with artillery. And yeah, this is the point where I realize I need Wrath of the Forest for stalling abilities. And that's a lot of trolls, and we are going to end up rain firing them, because this next wave occurs in such a way where we can sort of separate out the enemies. You can separate out the trolls on the top from the spiders. And if you're just dealing with spiders, you don't need rain of fire for just spiders. The artillery handles them good enough. But we are going to rain of fire them and then immediately call the next wave so that we can get more rain of fire back. And what we're going to do then is just keep spamming reinforcements along the Troll Champion's path to slow them down as much as possible. So that we can ideally end up rain firing 4 Troll Champions at the same time. So we're going to keep stalling these ones in the front. And the matriarchs at the bottom will die to artillery. And also Wrath of the Forest, for that matter. Wrath of the Forest is very good, and I will eventually max out Wrath of the Forest, but I guess I upgraded the barracks there too. You don't really need paladins until you get to like all the yetis at the end. Now this troll chieftain comes at the back of everything, so usually he stays alive after everyone else. And then here we go. I'm trying to get Rain of Fire to hit those matriarchs, but also kill as many troll champions as possible. And it kind of went away before this guy really got on it, so I believe one of those troll champions ends up staying alive for quite a while. At this point, I just paused to get my bearings, because I have a good bit of money, and I'd already been at this level for so long. This last wave has a ton of gargoyles on the bottom, and then some winter wolves and yetis on the top. And I get an arcane wizard, and I'm going to get teleport on the arcane wizard to just keep teleporting the yetis back. This is the last like big clusters of enemies, but you will have kind of a cluster of winter wolves. So I'm going to sell the artillery once that first pack of winter wolves leaves. But first the gargoyles are going to come out pretty much immediately. There's a lot of gargoyles. And yeah, that troll chieftain can last an extremely long time down there. And I believe I'll get paladins soon. Now we get Rain of Fire back right around here, and you ideally want to use Rain of Fire on this whole cluster of winter wolves. You hit some gargoyles while you're at it. And at that point, I'm going to get a archer tower here instead, so that I can reliably hit the gargoyles, because I lost some attempts at this final wave to barbarians just not throwing their axes at a gargoyle, and like this 1 HP gargoyle would sneak through at the end. And I'm gonna get more teleport and more Wrath of the Forest, just anything to stall these yetis. And I'm eventually gonna start selling towers and just getting more paladins too, just doing anything to keep the yetis in place enough for me to end up killing them. And I think the last flock, this might be the last flock of gargoyles right here. They stop somewhere around here, and I thought that the archer wasn't going to kill them, and that gargoyle, and I was trying to move the barbarians down there, but they were able to get him, so that was good. And you get a Rain of Fire back here, and just use it to try and damage the yetis, and then just pray that you get enough good teleports, enough Wrath of the Forests, just enough to, keep these yetis back for as long as possible. I sell a tower, and I'm just going to get more barracks, just try and keep the yetis in place until Arcane Wizard uses his next teleport. Just trying to keep stalling the yetis, because I would die to the yetis at the end, because I just didn't have the firepower to kill them. The defense was so tailored to other kinds of things. Thankfully, he can still use teleport a few more times, and then I bought Death Ray, and he killed him, and this was the point where I realized that I had actually won. It had taken me so long, I didn't know if I was actually going to win. but I did manage to, and then just at the end, I try fighting this guy, and he gets teleported out of space, right there. But I did manage to do it after an extremely long time. It was painful, but I finally did it, and never have to do that stupid heroic challenge again. Aside from Twin Rivers, which was I'll try that last. That was definitely the hardest one. I managed it, and just proving it was on veteran difficulty. I'll do the Iron Challenge next, and I think I remember what the Iron Challenge is. It's hard. So yeah, that's it. Goodbye.